Thousands of indigenous Ecuadorians from all over the country called for justice for a middle-aged man killed during a national strike on Thursday. Ecuador's People's Ombudsman says he was one of 5 people killed in more than a week of protests.
There's an abuse of police force, and we've also asked the government to lift the state of emergency, which has generated more violence. I think the government has lost control of the situation.
Inside Quito's Cultural Center building, leaders of Ecuador's Indigenous Confederation paraded 8 policemen onto the stage. The colonel in charge told Al Jazeera he'd come to negotiate the release of a patrolman who'd been detained, but they were not allowed to leave until hours later.
The deaths of the protesters, allegedly in the hands of the police, has only added more fuel to an already explosive conflict. And after 8 days of demonstrations, the indigenous groups that are gathered here are not only asking for austerity measures to be lifted, but for the president and his cabinet to go.
But indigenous leaders have stopped short of asking for President Lenin Moreno's ouster. They are demanding instead the immediate end to what they call police repression, the release of all detainees, and the immediate resignation of the defense and the interior ministers, as a precondition for a dialogue with authorities. The interior minister is being blamed for police firing tear gas into a university where women, children, and elderly people had taken refuge.
We brought our children because we have no one to care for them. But you, Interior Minister, a woman, are an assassin.
President Moreno is refusing to give in to demands to restore fuel subsidies, which he removed in exchange for a $5 billion IMF loan. But a former Assembly deputy says Ecuador can't afford desperately needed credit at that price.
Moreno has to be able to negotiate with international banks and make them understand that we are a country with an enormous political crisis, that we cannot be treated as though we have a stable democracy that needs a small fiscal adjustment. Here, an adjustment can bring down the whole deck of cards.
Indeed, Ecuador has a history of governments being toppled for a lot less, something few people here have forgotten. Lucia Newman, Al Jazeera, Quito.